To begin this look, I'm going to start off by priming my eyes using this Benefit Stay Don't Stray eye primer. This one is in the shade Medium Deep, and I'm simply going to apply it onto the lids and then blend it out using my clean ring finger. Next, I'm taking my Nars pressed powder in the shade Mountain and simply applying a light layer onto my eyes using a large fluffy brush. This step will not only help set the primer in place, but it'll also help me out with blending. The first color that I'm going to be working with is this beautiful warm toned shadow from MakeupGeek. This one is in the shade Creme Brûlée, and I'm simply going to be applying it onto the lid using my E40 brush from Sigma. It is just a really nice fluffy brush that gets it where I need it to go. So I'm going to be applying it along the crease, but of course, since it is a bigger blending brush, it also automatically goes above the crease, and this is going to work as my transition shade. Moving on with a warmer tone, this one is Frappé, also from MakeupGeek. I decided to apply it in the same way, in the same spots that I applied the previous shadow. So just windshield circular buffing motions onto the crease, just to give the eye some more warmth. So just building this shadow up until it gets pretty warm on the lid. I wanted to keep the lids nice and neutral because I was going to be adding glitter onto the liner, and I didn't want to overwhelm the eye with too much. Next, moving on to this shade, this one is Peach Smoothie, also by MakeupGeek, and I'm going to be applying that onto the mobile lid area using my index finger. I like working with my index finger for the lid shades. I don't know if you all have noticed that, but when it's like a foil shadow, a really soft buttery shadow, I just love applying it with my finger. I just feel like you get a better, more intense color payoff. For liner today, I'm going with this Sigma Legend Line Ace liquid liner. It's a pretty intense black, and I'm just going to be giving myself a pretty thick, long wing because I want to have enough room for the glitter and enough room for my false lashes because I am going to be wearing false lashes for this look, and that is why I decided that a thicker line would be best. Moving on to the face for now, I'm going to be color correcting my dark circles using this Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector before moving on to foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be working with my Milani 2-in-1 foundation. This one is in the shade Sand Beige, and just applying it onto my face using my damp beauty blender. For concealer, I'm going to be using my favorite Tarte Shape Tape. This one is in the shade Medium, and simply applying it onto the under eye area, but I'm also going to be highlighting the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and a little bit on my chin. And then just blending everything out using my damp beauty blender. And of course, in order to avoid any kind of creasing under the eyes for me, I went ahead and I set everything using my RCMA No Color Loose powder. And then moving on to shaping and filling in my brows, I'm doing so here with my Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Brunette. And now for the fun part. Using my Too Faced glitter glue, I'm grabbing that with my small little winged liner brush. This one is my E06 from Sigma. I'm applying some of that glue onto the back of my hand and then applying that glue using the brush onto the winged line that I've already created, but I'm making sure that I stay within the center of the line and making sure that I stay as close to the lash line as possible because I want the black wing line to show, but I also want the glitter to be kind of like in the middle. Does that make sense? So just applying the glue onto the middle, and then after I applied the glue, moving on with this glitter. This one is from LA Splash Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Renaissance, so it's a beautiful, beautiful gold shade. And I'm grabbing some of that glitter with the same brush because of the tackiness of the glue. It's going to stick onto the brush, and then applying it gently onto where I placed the glue. So it's definitely going to stick onto the glue. You may get some fallout, so I realized, like, retrospect, I said to myself, maybe I should have done this before I did the rest of my face, but I didn't get a whole lot of fallout on my face. So just make sure that you're super careful with it if you're going to be following this step like exactly. Otherwise, I would probably leave the face to after the glue or after the glitter. And then here I am just brushing away any of the fallout that I may have gotten on my face with a large powder brush. Using the Hoola bronzer from Benefit, I'm going to be contouring and bronzing. I feel like this shade is not too brown and it's not too cool, so you can definitely use it for both contouring and bronzing, especially if you have my skin shade. I feel like it works okay with my skin tone. So just applying that onto the hollows of my cheeks and then just swirling any of the excess product upward so that it's kind of like a 2-in-1. For blush today, I'm going to be using my current favorite, which is this one, Amaretto, from the Becca and Jaclyn Hill face palette. And moving on to highlight, for this particular look, I decided to stick with the same face palette, grab Prosecco Pop, and apply it using a damp beauty blender. I feel like you get a really lovely, beautiful, natural looking glow when you apply a highlight with the damp beauty blender. If you haven't tried it, give it a try and let me know what you think. Then I grabbed my House of Lashes lashes. These are in the style Featherettes, and I'm applying those, making sure to stick as close to the lash line as I possibly can. So I'm definitely concentrating for this one because I don't want to hide the glitter that I've applied on top of the winged line. And then I decided, you know what, I want to add just a little bit more sparkle. And so I went back in with a glitter glue, applied that onto the inner corner of my eye, and then popped some of the same glitter that I used on the wing line, popped some of that on top of it, and it just gave it a whole new look. I love the way that it turned out with that little extra something. In order to combine my false lashes with my real lashes, I'm just using some of this Estee Lauder mascara, applying a quick coat before massaging my real lashes and my false lashes in between my fingers, and then that way both of them can really combine and look like one. I was having an issue back in the day before I discovered this little trick where even if I did apply mascara before the false lashes, you could definitely see that they were two separate, like, you know, there's your false lash, there's your real lash. But after figuring this out, I don't have an issue with that anymore. And then of course also applying a quick coat to my bottom lashes. At the very last minute, I decided that I wanted to add something to my waterline. Here I'm using the Beautiful Real waterproof liner. This is just in black. So applying that onto my waterline and then smudging it out a little bit using a pencil brush. For my lips, I'm going to be lining and filling them in using this MAC lip pencil. This one is in the shade Vino. And so I'm simply going to do that. Just line everything up, fill it in, and then after that, I'm going in with this Beauty For Real gloss. This one is in the shade Sugar Plum, and applying that on top of it in order to give it a really, really beautiful finish. Now, this lip gloss is a bit sheer, so that's why I had to go in with the lip pencil onto the entire lip. Otherwise, I probably would have just lined it or something like that, but I wanted a gloss, and that's why I grabbed this one. I love the color, but yeah, it is a little bit sheer. And that completes the look. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video and that you enjoyed this look. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video.